Right. How late does it go?
Um,
It might come after.
yeah, so the latest we usually go is 7:30.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, today I don't know how many signups we'll have, but if we have about 20 signups, it'll go till 7. Yeah.
They were up your ass as soon as you got there last time.
Oh yeah. There's
You're
always
like Indiana Jones with all the little children.
yeah,
the
10,
food.
15 of them waiting around. Yeah, Mr.
Please
Jones,
help.
Mr. Jones.
On today's episode of the God Awful Gospel Hour, our guest is Derek Dimpfl.
God awful. God awful. God awful.
We appreciate you coming here. We know you're very busy.
For sure.
According to your-
Praise the Lord.
According to your YouTube posts, you had 3 different places every night. It looks like you're
At
treating
least,
this place like it's New York City over here.
As much as I can. Yeah.
Are you still doing the ATX Comedy Review podcast thing with Chad O?
No, I stopped doing that a number of months ago. It became less convenient because I was doing the Madrone coffee company mic every Sunday.
Okay.
And he didn't want to move our broadcast time, and so I was like, well, I guess I've got to do something, which is something that I've set up. So
So you're at Madrone and you're at Lazy Days. So you do stay south?
well, no, I used to live in South Austin, and I prefer it.
Yeah.
Actually, I really like driving through the neighborhood. I forget what the something trail I drove through, which has like all that parkland around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Paisano.
yeah, Paisano Trail. Yeah.
That's where we go.
Yeah, but I like South Austin a lot more. It has a lot more sort of authentic flavor to it.
We stopped being friends with everybody that's across the river.
Yeah. All right.
like,
Well,
what happened to
well,
us?
I think I have to go. now. Yeah, but I live up like Koenig and Lamar around there right now.
All right, yeah.
That's where my office is. But we have people move to Buda, and then we all everybody went to a party there, and a friend of ours was like, "What happened to us?" And I was like, "You moved."
Yeah, you moved away. You
Yeah.
left.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're
Everybody was
asking
in
me
South
what
Austin.
happened.
Yeah.
That's that sign on the church. If what is it? God moved. Who moved? If you feel far away from God, who moved?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And then if you're what's ch.ch, what's missing? You are. Those are my favorite dumb gay little Woodrows.
It's like the
Or
it's
El
like,
Arroyo.
yeah, El Arroyo sign, but for churches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
those
there's
are
one
the-
about being on your knees. It was pretty awesome. Like anytime they're talking about like kneeling and and
Yeah, they
being
want
on
you to
your knees
kneel in front
pray.
of that dude, but then they're scared of like.
Yeah, well, I don't think I want to kneel in front of any strange men.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you can't, have a drag thing at the library. Heaven forbid.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Well, we're too busy kneeling in front of this guy in a robe.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Right.
so
Well,
so you don't
worshiping.
want little kids to be looking at titties. You prefer they kneel
Looking up under the
in
under
front
the
of a
Pope's robe.
man. Yeah.
The Cardinal's gown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so both Josh and I were raised pretty religious, so that's kind of part of the joke of this podcast being called the God Awful Gospel Hour.
Yeah, me
Look-
too. I can connect with that.
Yeah. Yes.
Massachusetts, East
Mhm.
Coast.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, that's where I was born. Yeah.
Okay.
My family just moved from California, from West Adams in Los Angeles, when they were pregnant with me, because the Rodney King riots were going on at that
Oh,
time.
nice.
And so
92, yeah.
yeah, so they moved away to Massachusetts, and then we came back when I was 7.
Somewhere safe.
Right? Yeah. No, I was ashamed to admit.
I have a family member that
Ashamed to
moved
admit
to
it.
Utah.
White flight,
and
yeah.
She called me and she was like, "Utah's very safe." I was like, okay.
Yeah. That's what you'll hear everyone in Thousand Oaks say. Is that they all.
No need for rooftop Koreans in our town.
It's just one of those dog whistle words now. Safe. We were talking on the other show with my friend Mike. He did the theme song about all the shit that's racist now that didn't used to be. Calvin and Hobbes is now racist.
Really?
The American flag.
How?
The Punisher.
Wait, hang on.
Calvin used to pee on the Chevy logo, and now he pees on Biden. He's peeing on,
Were Chevys like were Fords for whites and Chevys for blacks or something?
No,
like
it
that?
used to be just brand identity. Like, I'm a Ford man, so I have a sticker of him pissing on the Chevy logo.
Oh, so that's racist.
No, now it's
well,
racist.
you used to be able to be like Southern without the racial element. Like whenever I was a kid, it was whatever team you were on, you could have Calvin pissing on the other team. So if you were a Ford guy, you could have him pissing on the Chevy logo.
Okay, gotcha.
But now it's
But the problem is all those people ended up being Trump voters. So now it's like Calvin peeing on Obama's face.
Yeah, but this is all like secondary artwork anyways.
Yeah.
This isn't, you know.
Somebody should do a Trump peeing on a Russian
Yeah.
girl's face in the hotel.
Yeah.
In the style of Calvin.
Oh, I thought
Just
Trump
do a
was the
little
one
hair.
who was getting peed on.
Streaming platform.
I think the story about that was that Barack and Michelle stayed in
You
Russia.
mean Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The French.
Pre-transition Michael
French
Obama.
Michel.
Right. They stayed in a Russian hotel, and then like a few months later, Trump went to that same city and stayed in that same hotel, and he demanded to have the same room that Obama had.
Yeah.
And then he hired a bunch of Russian sex workers to come and pee on the bed as to say, "Ha, fuck you, Obama. I had women pee in the bed that you stayed in."
That's like 20-year-old Motley Crue shit. That's
know.
not something that
Yeah.
65-year-old man would do.
Have you met Trump?
He's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Kickstart my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, if hair metal were politics, that would be Donald
Definitely.
Trump. Yeah.
Definitely.
I
I mean,
shit
look,
on
Enough
you.
has been said about his hair already.
yeah. He's got Ted Nugent. He's got Kid Rock. I mean, he's there already.
So what's going on at Lazy Days? What do they got? Weed, coffee?
Yeah. They've got they got
Shroom
weed, Delta
stuff?
8 CBD, I think Delta 9 too. I think they do grow mushrooms in there.
Do you get into that stuff? Do you eat those
Yeah,
gummies?
yeah, I like some mushrooms, yeah.
Yeah.
And they also like infuse their coffee with weed too. Yeah.
So we go to the Donnie got me into the Smoke and Chill over here on Brody because they have the Delta 9 gummy bears.
Okay.
that are
Can you
highlight.
smoke inside there?
I don't know. Probably
You
it's
probably
called
vape in
Smoke
there.
and Chill,
Yeah.
so you should be able to. I
Yeah,
don't know.
you can at
Yeah,
Lazy
they have a
Days.
humidor. So,
That's-
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
so probably.
Keep all the weed nice and hydrated.
Well, and so it's just a coffee shop that is also. I mean, I've been in that shopping center for 20 years. My wife used to skip school and go to the bake house.
Nice.
She went right across the street from there. But it used to have been so many different things over there.
Mm.
And now there's 4 coffee places right there. There's Lazy Days, there's Joe's, there's Austin Java.
Yeah.
It's the coffee strip. It's like the where the Miracle Mile for automobiles, but
Yeah.
of caffeine.
Keeping South Austin caffeinated.
South Austin has its Austin comedy is so huge that now that there's a South Austin comedy scene.
Yeah, I guess.
Which
I mean,
I've never heard of that in any other town.
have you been over to South Austin Comedy Club?
Yeah,
A couple times.
Peasy's got that Saturday Pint Live thing there. We went to that, and then we went to the open mic before it was the club.
Yeah, Victor Martinez's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty sparse on a Monday, but
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
Monday
it was
night
hit or
open
miss.
mics are a little, it's hard to really get things going on a Monday night. It seems like.
Yeah, it was pretty hit and miss, but if you had a few people there, then you could, at least get a little bit of data.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about everybody shat on online comedy during COVID because it was they didn't have a choice and they were like, this fucking sucks, Zoom. But now it's like, you want a good room with a low ceiling where you can feel everything reverberating back, or just do some TikToks and see if people thumbs up it, and maybe that's
Yeah.
it's a gay fake virtual version of the same thing.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna make a new TikTok where I dress up like Rick Sanchez, and I'm gonna be Autistic Rick.
Oh god,
Autistic Rick, I don't give a fuck.
that'd be good.
Morty, you gotta put the seeds. You gotta put the seeds up your butt, Morty.
There's plenty of guacamole.
You gotta do it, Morty.
Get some good guacamole right here.
Yeah.
How'd you like that Lucky Duck writing night thing? I was interested in going over there for that.
Oh, the tag mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun. It's a
Okay.
bit hot for that right now.
Yeah.
So I've
Getting
yeah.
shit on and sweating at the same time.
Yeah, we were getting all excited about going over there on a Wednesday night, and then, a couple weeks ago, you were like, "It's outside, not for a couple months."
We went to Star Wars trivia 3 different places, and the third one was at the Pine House Brewery on Burleson over there. And it looked like it was going to be inside, and we got there, and it was outside, and it was 100.
Covered deck
Oh,
area.
okay.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah,
it
that place with all the food
thunderstormed.
trucks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's...
Oh, it thunderstormed.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
rad. It was beautiful.
It was probably the last thunderstorm we had before Austin turned into hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it was it was a pretty strong storm too, and
Yeah, a couple
lightning
weeks
was hitting
ago there
everywhere.
was a little bit of sprinkling, but we haven't had too much sprinkle.
What about Irene's? Is that still happening?
I wish. I
Okay.
wish. That
Sorry, I
was-
listened to your show from December.
Yeah, no,
today
it's,
on the way
yeah, I'm flattered. I'm really flattered. Yeah, those were very fun shows to do. I think it was probably the best show I've put on so far. And so
Restaurant comedy is challenging.
it is challenging, but the management there, particularly Mercedes Hussein, who was the one who really spearheaded putting that together, was so supportive of it, and she's also so effective at organizing things and
Okay.
getting things done in a timely manner that I didn't have to worry about too much other than showing up and getting the comedians all together. Although I did build a stage for that show,
Yeah.
which was a fun project. But
we did that for Cedar Door. We had to have it broke down in half so it fit in the back of a hatchback, and then put it
Yeah.
4x8 together when we
I'd-
got there with bolts.
Yep, I had two pallets with sheets of plywood nailed on top of each other, and I sanded them down and painted them. It was pretty simple, but
There used to be a comedy night at Romeo's, which is gone now. What is it now? Julia's?
That was Juliet's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I ever did restaurant.
Romeo transition.
Yeah, Romeo Trans Juliet. That was the first time I ever did restaurant comedy, and I was, driving there. It was the first cold night of the year. I had an old BMW, and I put the heat on, and it made a bad smell. The first time you put the heat on the old car, over after summer, there's like
It burns the dust that's in there.
there's like
Yeah.
8 dead rats in there or whatever. So I got there and I was like, I'm going to work on this bit. And I got up on stage and I was like, it's the first time you turn the heat on. My car smells like an old man with halitosis. And there was an old man on a date with a younger lady right in the front. And she started pointing at him and laughing. And he just looked at me and was like, stop this joke right now. This is not helping me.
Stop this
I'm
joke.
trying to bang this escort, man. What are you doing to me?
Well, if he's already paid, he's got
Yeah, I
no
know,
bag.
It takes all of the uncertainty out of it when you pay for it.
So all your YouTube posts are time and day accurate?
Yep.
So you went 3 places last night?
Yeah.
3 places the night before?
5 actually.
The James Brown of Austin comedy. Hardest working man.
Well, yeah, when you,
Ginger
on,
James
on
Brown.
Kill Tony, you were saying you do put 60 hours a week in on it, 6 nights a week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever read r/standup?
I think I'm subscribed, but I haven't read too much of it.
There was a guy last week asking how to put a laugh track in reels, like the 1 minute things, and everybody jumped right down his
Yeah.
throat, and they were like, "You piece of shit!
Fuck you.
You get laughs, you get laughs."
Yeah, you need to go to like our audio editing or
He's
something.
like, other people do it. People
aren't
do it
gonna
on their
judge
comedy
you,
specials.
yeah.
And everybody's like, they do that for timing. Those people are laughing.
Yeah.
It's not added. It's not
It's
Lucille
not
Ball.
completely from thin air fake laughter, you know.
Yeah, right.
I think
Yeah.
that was who killed that 70s show, and then the third rock. What was the geek show?
Third Rock
Everybody-
Freaks and Geeks.
Freaks and Geeks.
No, the Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
used to shit on that because it was like one of the last laugh tracks.
Well, I mean,
shows.
they
Yeah.
would post edits on YouTube of a scene where they cut out the laugh track, and you're like, this is not funny at all.
Yeah.
It's like when you have that that laugh track priming you, all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Man.
I found especially like a lot of the later seasons didn't make me laugh at all. It's like, but there are a couple good seasons in there, and then every now and again there's the occasional episode which is a diamond in the rough in the
Right.
later seasons.
Right.
I mean, we all know, according to Baby Soleil Moon Fry, that the Cosby Show was filmed in front of a live studio audience. What was her name? Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy.
Soleil Moon
Raven
Fry. is
Simone.
Raven Simone. That was the other one.
Rudy? She was one
That
of
was
those.
Olivia. Olivia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Cosby Show was filmed in front of a live studio. I used to say that at the end of every episode, and I was like, "Those are real laughs." Cosby
Yeah,
was
for
good.
all the for all the shit Cosby catches. Can't we just remember the good things?
And we at least know the audience wasn't roofied, right?
We were doing a bit about that the other week, where he got accused of 4 more rapes after getting out of jail, and then his wife was like, "Really, Bill?" And he's like, "I already said sorry. Do you want me to apologize again?"
do I have to
How many times
apologize?
She's like, "1 per
my
rape
God.
would be good.
Yeah.
If we could get 1 per rape, that would probably be cool."
Yeah. yeah.
Camille,
Come on, Camille. Yeah.
I said I'm sorry.
Wow. Get him in the studio and record all the apologies,
Yeah.
like episodes of Jeopardy. Just
He's
knock
not
them all
gonna-
out in one day.
Yeah, still sorry. You can make a new special.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still sorry.
Still staying sincerely
Yeah.
sorry.
Still
Yeah.
sorry. Still have cataracts. Still.
Yeah. Still blind. Yeah.
Didn't die in jail. Everybody thought he didn't die in jail.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he got out on a technicality, so.
Yeah.
Well, what was that?
Oh, they didn't like in the. What was it? It was. The lady had signed an agreement that. It's like like not like a non-disclosure agreement, but they had like a settlement where he paid her off, and then she, and part of that was that case was not admissible in court, and they either skipped over that or they missed it or whatever, or they said, well, that doesn't matter because it was still a crime and all that. But then, an appellate court or a judge came back in and said, no, actually, we're going to vacate the judgment on this.
So that technically means he did not rape.
Yeah, right.
He's a loophole.
It was like Kevin Spacey. As soon as Kevin Spacey got acquitted of this thing, I posted on our Discord. I was like, oh, that's it. Time to give him all of his movie roles back. He's innocent, right? You know?
I don't know, fellas. This is quickly turning into a rape apologist podcast.
Rapeologists. No, rape is bad. Rape is very bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're only talking about one accusation. Now, the other 30, they definitely
Yeah,
took.
right. It's, sorry, Bill. That's all piled up on your
Yeah.
cosmic balance sheet.
Right.
So there's another guy on our stand-up that posted that he got heckled. Not only heckled, but viciously attacked on stage by this lady because he was trying a new bit. He said, I always wanted to do a bit about Will I Am from the Black Eyed Peas, but I was waiting for him to die so I could call him Will I Was. And he said some lady stood up and started yelling at him. And then I put, I think you're 2000 and late on that joke because that was a line from one of their songs.
Yeah.
Let's Get Retarded or whatever it was back in the day. And then a bunch of comments came in. It was like that. Your joke was funnier than the original. And then he deleted it. And then he deleted his whole account.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
Just zerped out of like the entire
Yeah.
thing. And I was like, oh, cool. I won the joke contest.
Poor guy got heckled. Yeah, right.
Trying to help him and make it funnier.
Yeah,
And add a tag.
he wanted to leave on top, you guys. Let him go into seclusion.
I guess. Did you watch the new? Do you watch any of these new YouTube specials that come out for free?
Oh, let's see. I haven't seen any specials on YouTube for a while. I don't think.
We used to have to get HBO to watch a comedy special or
yeah.
Showtime. And
Which
now
are you
it's
thinking of?
Matt McCusker's The Light Speed.
Okay, no, I haven't seen it.
That's pretty good. He's had a bunch of parallel stuff with me about wife and kids and new parenting. And all that. I thought it was great. I noticed you were doing an old Hedberg joke.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I do that sometimes. Yeah.
I saw Hedberg twice. I saw him at the DC Improv, and then I lived at these apartments in Orlando that were on the same strip, like the Orange Avenue strip with the Improv Orlando. So if you stay at the apartment, you get free improv tickets.
Oh, that's awesome.
Still 2 drink minimum.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you're
yeah.
still broke.
You're
'cause you
still
have to-
shelling out. Yeah.
But we saw Hedberg there, and he dropped the mic and left because these girls on the front row were talking. And he was like, I'll pay for your meal. He got a $20 bill out. He's like, please stop arguing about the bill.
Nice.
And he was just like, no, I'm out. Thank
Yeah.
you. And then I think he was dead soon after that. Maybe that was what triggered it.
Like
Those women in Orlando killed Mitch Hedberg. Yeah, I noticed you had another bit about having new glasses. Are those still the same new glasses? They still
Yep,
look
they're
good?
still transitioning, like
Okay.
my sisters. Yeah.
How many siblings you have?
2.
Okay, and your big sisters?
Yeah, big
You
sisters.
have big sisters too, Donnie?
Steps, yeah.
Okay.
A single stepsister, yeah.
Do you notice having big sisters makes you not trust women at all ever?
Yeah, well, it's weird
people?
because because they were male.
Yeah, they didn't
presenting
start
that
out
whole
as
time.
sisters.
Oh.
But then it was surprise, and then it may be
Oh, so you grew up with big brothers.
yeah,
Okay.
but they were just sisters in disguise, right?
Right.
Okay.
So the principle may be true, still.
They were lying. to themselves or something.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think it was very easy to come clean in that environment. My mom's a pretty serious
No.
fundamentalist Christian. Yeah, in Massachusetts, like for all of its liberal policies, is much more traditional than any of the West Coast. Yeah.
That's where all that Salem stuff happened, and they burned all
Yeah,
those
yeah.
damn
Well, I
witches.
mean, I don't know. Yeah,
They were hallucinating on rotten corn. and they
right.
got
Yeah,
mad.
the ergot state.
Everybody's a witch when you're high on rotten corn.
So yeah, I guess the 16th century version of libs of TikTok would just be all witches.
Yeah.
Probably just like videos, constant videos of witches.
Those
Yeah.
are the Karens. People calling each other witches.
So I wanted somebody, whenever when you were on Kill Tony, I wanted you to say that you have, 2 trans sisters, and I wanted somebody to make a joke like, were they filming The Matrix? Because
Oh,
both
yeah.
the Wachowskis
Yeah.
are women.
Yeah,
They're
my
the Wachowski
oldest
sisters.
sister, one of her favorite movies growing up was The Matrix.
Yeah.
And like none of us saw it coming, which means that we were all just ignorant and uneducated.
Right.
Yeah, loved Queen, loved David Bowie.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's all fluid now. I have a junior high daughter, and there was a kid on the bus that some lady called him a little boy, and he was like, "I'm a girl," and it caused all these problems. And it was like, yeah, you're not supposed to tell anybody who they are. Adults aren't supposed to tell children what they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole argument comes down to that one moment where somebody called someone the wrong thing, and then it's been conflated in these Republican states into pedophilia and all this other stuff, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
just don't tell anybody what they are. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Just, you already weren't supposed to do that forever.
So somebody called your kid a little boy, and that was the problem.
Yeah, no, it was one of her friends. All her friends are all over the place.
Oh, okay.
It's 7th grade, so
Yeah, I
super
mean,
cool.
well, good luck, school system trying to tell kids how to talk. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, this
yeah.
is their chance to correct the adults. Finally, with me, it's not alternative music; it's progressive.
Yeah, they need to soften up your kids' brains and try and reach you that way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
put them on that CBD, or give them some of those.
Yeah, right. Put them in the water fountains. You
Yeah.
know?
So my kid got glasses also because he's
Mm-hmm.
got a wonky eyeball,
Mm-hmm.
and the joke in the house is that he was born premature
Mm-hmm.
because we got a hotel. My parents came to visit, and they babysat the oldest kid and got us a hotel at the Omni. But we had just been to the doctor that day. It was a month before the kid was gonna be born, and he was like, "Don't have sex." But then we had a hotel at the Omni that was overlooking 6th Street. We could see the bar where we met,
Mm-hmm.
and we were like, "Well, we have to have sex."
After all these
doctor
Russian
said-
prostitutes piss on the bed, we have to have sex.
The doctor said don't, so it made it more fun.
Mm-hmm.
But then the kid was born a month early.
Yeah,
with a
you
wonky,
poked him in the eyeball,
fucked
buddy.
his face up.
What the hell?
That's my bad.
Why'd you do it, Dad? Why'd you do it?
You ruined me before I was ever born.
I wanted you to be able to see around the corner. I can fuck around the corner with my bent dick. Now you can see around the corner.
Does he have a strabismus or?
Yes.
Okay.
He's working on it now. He's finally like old enough to be conscious and like think about the muscles and stuff.
Yeah, I have a strabismus too.
Okay, you got it under control, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just wait till I get tired or drunk, and then I'll
We're
start.
It starts drifting.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna start a Big Brother program. We're gonna have you come counseling.
Okay.
Look at me. Look at me.
Look me in the eyes. I know everyone's autistic these days, but you look me in the eyes.
The problem is here, not over there.
All right, we're going to take a little break from the segment, and we'll be right back.
All right.
And we're back with Derek. So how did you get started doing comedy? Like, what pushed you into it? What got you into it?
Yeah. Well, I'd wanted to do stand up or some form of entertainment or comedy probably for 15 years before I began. But for a number of reasons, I didn't. But when it really finally settled in and clicked for me was in September of 2019. I got on a plane to go be on my own and travel by myself for an indeterminate amount of time around Europe. I'd gone and saved up a lot of money from the last job that I had, and when I got on the plane and I started flying, it finally settled down. And it settled down in my heart and my chest, and it felt like something solid. It was like, okay, when I come back to America, I'm gonna move to New York City. and start doing stand-up comedy.
Nice.
That was it. And so then I did come back 13 months later, but of course, you know, the pandemic happened during the
Right.
course of that. And but you know, and I initially came back to California.
They let you
know,
back in the country during the pandemic?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was let's see, it was October 2020. Yeah, it was more like, and honestly, being stuck there was
Yeah.
it was amazing.
No, not
it was
France.
fantastic. Yeah, yeah, and I got so lucky. I got so lucky that I just started volunteering at this hostel in Northern Ireland 2 days before the lockdown occurred.
Where all did you go? So URL pass everywhere?
No, that the URL pass is actually quite a bad deal now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah, I prefer Ryanair, even
Okay.
though they are very particular about bags and things. It's the Spirit,
Spirit Airlines
that-
of Europe,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
They're numerous Spirit Airlines style. EasyJet, Wizz Air, other companies like that. But the tickets were cheap, and if you could, and if you took off your jacket and carried your bag cloaked in your jacket and just kept a low profile, and sometimes I would even just carry my bag, and the people at the desk either wouldn't see it or they wouldn't care, and so I'd be able to bring my bag on. But yeah,
Well, you're 6 feet like me. How do you keep a low profile in Europe? I got attacked everywhere I went. Japanese people are like, Godzilla. They want to take their picture with me. Switzerland, they wanted to be with Godzilla next to the waterfall.
Okay.
Fucking
yeah.
nightmare.
Well, I don't know, because they're like, because when I want to be incognito, I seem to be able to be, but I am a person who attracts a lot of attention naturally.
Yeah.
To answer your question, where did I go? I started off by going to a friend's wedding in Ibiza.
Yeah.
That's why I mentioned July, because I met these friends in July. I happened to run into this lady at a bachelorette party in Santa Barbara, and I was in
performing stand-up?
No, I didn't start doing stand-up till the day I got to Austin. That was how. But I guess I was like character acting for them or something.
I've always wanted to go to Ibiza. Was it rad?
Oh yeah, it was really cool. I actually the party scene is pretty fun, but
It's like the Vegas of DJs. They retire there.
yeah.
Residency.
Yeah, that's where Freddie Mercury used to take a lot of his vacations.
Yeah.
There's this spot called Pike's Hotel, just inland a little bit, where the guy who ran it was this guy who was this guy Frank Pike, I think was his name, but he sort of became a cult icon around there.
Okay.
And like he was basically lived his life like a porn producer. Like there's this video of him saying, "I've had sex with more than 1,000 people in my life. I've had sex with men, sex with women." Yeah.
Furniture.
Yeah, right. And Freddie Mercury's apartment at the hotel was preserved, and so when there are parties at the hotel, that's one of the places you can party is in Freddie Mercury's apartment.
There's a lot of YouTubes of like sunrise sets in Ibiza where somebody
so
the music
beautiful.
hits right when the sun is rising.
Yeah.
And everybody's off their heads.
Yeah, I don't really care for the party scene at all.
Yeah.
I just think it's I think it's one of the most gorgeous places that you could be. Look out for
That's right.
jellyfish, though. Yeah.
Yeah. I went over there in '97 for school and ended up homeless in Rotterdam for like a day over some Eurail pass bullshit. And I didn't make it to Ireland, but did a lot of Scotland, a lot of England, Austria.
Awesome. You went to Edinburgh then?
Yeah.
Edinburgh.
Not for the Fringe Festival.
I went to a stand-up show in Edinburgh.
Oh, you
and
did?
there were 3 comedians from Glasgow, and I cannot understand cannot ken to what they're saying. The accent was so thick. This one guy, he was talking about the Marks and Spencer dining for 2. The Marks and Spencer dining for 2. Holy shit!
I've got to go to the Tesco.
The Tesco, yeah. You been to Sainsbury's? Yeah. You fuck Sainsbury's.
Get some
Tesco.
hobnobs and some Jaffa cakes.
Yeah, Jaffa cakes. Yeah.
You can get those at Fiesta. They have them here if you're ever nostalgic
Oh
for
heck yeah.
British cookies.
Yeah, I think they got them like at Central Market. They got them a few different places.
Yeah.
There's some pretty good. And then there's a Phoenicia Bakery has like a whole international candy section. It's pretty awesome.
Nice.
So I've been thinking a lot recently about what it means to be well-adjusted post-religious upbringing. I always felt like I was not well adjusted because I didn't respond. There's a lot of kids that were raised that way that ended up, still doing that. And I guess those parents think those kids adjusted well to being in that growing up. And, I don't feel like I was forced into anything. It was, you're not going to get a fucking babysitter on a Sunday morning. We're going to church. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Nobody made me do anything, and all my friends were there. It was fine.
You're going to heaven whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're forced.
Yeah.
Sludge pipe, content sludge pipe into heaven.
Yeah.
But now, I don't know. I feel like I am well adjusted because I rebelled and I didn't respond well to that much authority.
Yeah.
And, the problems I have with the church and my parents, it doesn't have anything to do with those people and those institutions individually. It's a general problem with being told what to do, you know? So I think like an alcoholic, I have to go back and apologize to all these people and say, it's not you. I don't like people telling me what to do. And you were the one that had to do that to me when I was 6. It's your job. Fine, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. That's going to be a Goodwill Hunting. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
No. Well, cigarette burns.
Well, for me, it was like sitting there and listening to everything. But wait a minute, a talking snake, really? Really? That doesn't make sense. And then it always started with that little seed of skepticism.
Plus, Game
For
Boy
me.
came out right when we were
Yeah.
starting to get bored.
Yeah, I know.
There's a Game Boy
Yeah,
in
and
the
then
car.
so I went to church and I learned all about that, and then I read the Chronicles of Narnia and I read Lord of the Rings, and I was like, wait a minute, this is just fantasy world building, and it's not even good world building either. Like there's contradictions and there's things that don't make any sense. Like Tolkien's world is way cooler than the Bible world. And so I would say that religion is the first like fantasy series I ever got into.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, every
There's a map. It keeps changing. It's
Yeah,
not
right.
accurate anymore.
there's
None of the countries
66
are there.
books. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sinai took 40 years to cross.
Yeah.
Even though it's just a 4-day hike. Yeah.
Well, that was because God was mad, and He's like, "No, turn around. You gotta go in circles a little."
There's a lot of
bit."
times in the Bible where God was like, I was just kidding. I was just fucking with you. Don't kill
Yeah.
your son. Don't
Which,
kill your baby.
Yeah, which
playing
is
around.
was sort of a comfort, because then you can realize like all these people who are feeding me this didn't see how good a sense of humor the Lord really has.
I mean, I guess it's worth something to have a sense of right and wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, of
We're not
course.
murderers.
Yeah.
Maybe
No,
that's because of church. Maybe not. There's no control for the experiment for each of us.
I mean, it did teach you kind of a base morality that is, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, like that kind of stuff. It's still there's still some good stuff to it, which is why I guess as I've gotten older and as as the world has gotten crazier, I've kind of gone back to them like, oh, you guys aren't so bad some of the time,
You ain't so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna go back.
I like this topic, and and I understand the feeling of like needing to go back and repair bridges and stuff. But then I was thinking, it's like, well, are you sure that that's just not a holdover of religion telling you that you have to patch things up?
I'm not going to do it nice. I don't believe in believing in stuff. I think it's dumb. It's like having a pet peeve. This is my little thing. Like my sister used to be scared of bridges and remote controls. And I would just point the remote at her while she was asleep and hit all the buttons. And be like, yep, you're going to have cancer now.
Like, yeah.
Because you believe in this.
Oh, yeah.
And every time we went over a bridge,
an
we're like, we're
infrared
gonna
light.
die.
Yeah. Yeah, those remote controls with the little bulb on the front, it's just an infrared light that communicates
Yeah.
with the television.
People giving themselves this little entitlement. This is what I believe. This is what's important to me. So you have to respect. No.
My experience was a little bit different from your guys, because all through my childhood and adolescence, I felt like it was very important to uphold to uphold the beliefs and toe the line, because that's what I was led to believe was going to keep me safe and prosper in life.
Yeah.
And I was very scared, because there were different people in my life who would act in very threatening ways, whether that was my older sisters, brothers at the time, or that was like other kids at school. And I held on to this belief that,
Or the idea
being
that
a
you're
good
just going to be
boy-
on fire forever afterwards if you don't do it.
yeah, on fire for the Lord. I used to pray for people in the street. I used like see someone like who who had
had youth group
crutches or
stuff.
something. It's like, hey, I just I believe that God can heal people. Is it all right if I put my hands on you and pray
There you
that
go, in the
God
name
will
of
make
Jesus.
it better? So for me, at a certain point, it kind of became like, well, I'm going to do something that that improves someone's internal condition, whether I change
Yeah.
the external reality. And that's something that I carry on into stand-up too.
Yeah.
Placebo prayer.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, faith is self-gaslighting. If you did it, something went wrong, it's your fault.
Oh.
If something went good, God did it.
I consider it all my fault.
Sounds like you're raised Jewish.
Yeah, but
lot
no,
of guilt.
100%. I'm 100% Jewish in my approach to religion now. In that it's fine with me if there's something mystical and larger, but I'm not going to suppose that it's like a large man floating somewhere or something like that. Yeah, so I really took it all seriously for a long time. But when I was in my mid-20s and really started to divest myself of it, something that I found that was happening that really struck down to the core of me is that after I let go of all of that, suddenly, but I only realized it gradually, I started to become worried about all kinds of other things.
Yeah.
Like I became hyper obsessed with like where my garbage was going, like
Right.
what kind of impact I was having
Something
on
has to take that
on
place,
the world.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Burden
then
being lifted.
when I had one day where I was so anxious, and then I realized like, wow, you're so anxious. Oh, the emotional quality of this anxiety mirrors exactly the emotional quality of the anxiety that I had over religion.
Yeah.
And then I realized like, oh, I've just replaced my anxiety and fear about going to hell with anxiety and fear about other matters. So I just need to let go of all of it and start rebuilding something which I think is more consistent with what I really think.
The grass is always greener on the other side. And people get saved and they say that the burden was lifted. But when I stopped believing it, I felt a huge burden being lifted. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
me
have to
too.
worry about the whole
You can
dimension
breathe.
anymore. I'm
Yeah.
not going to burn alive forever. That's cool.
And I don't know if either of you have any kind of experience with like charismatic Christianity,
Oh, yeah.
with the kind of speaking in tongues and things. Tent meetings. Shakarabashanda and
Superpowers. You're talking about superpowers.
oh yeah, absolutely. Everyone can be Superman. Christ said, "You will do these things and more."
Yeah.
Like, so raise that boy from the dead.
Yeah. I just saw a picture on Reddit today of this couple that couldn't have a baby, so they made them have sex in front of the church, and the preacher had his hand on the lady's head. They were under a blanket, but the whole crowd was like, "Yeah, fuck." They're gonna. I don't know if they had a baby or not, but
That sounds so uncomfortable.
churches get these ideas.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
we have a bunch of skit ideas. We want to run by you.
Yeah.
Do you ever do any skits? You film any skits?
Yeah.
Wanted to do like a sad clown kind of Galifianakis-esque, because you did so well on Kill Tony that you got a joke book, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they give you a joke book?
Yeah, they did.
You made fucking David Tell laugh.
Yeah.
And you roasted.
Tony said, well, fun times, my friend. Here's a medium joke book. He called it a medium joke. It was a little one. He threw it at me.
So it's cool that you got to do it whenever Jeff Ross and David Tell were
That
there.
was perfect.
Badass. They
And,
were, they were
yeah.
bumping mics when they were
Yeah.
making jokes about you. And
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, one of my regrets in that is no regrets, but was when Tony was asking me what I do for fun, because I haven't been doing too much for fun lately. But one of the things that I do for fun is go to roast battle.
Yeah.
Is I'll catch every roast battle that I can, and it's so much fun. Yeah, but anyways, yeah.
So I want to do a skit of a comedian that gets up on stage and goes, "How's everybody doing tonight? Let's give it up for the troops." So what else is going on? And then the camera zooms in on the joke book and it says, "How's everyone doing tonight? Let's give it up for the troops." So what else is going
on? It's just a couple of dots.
We had another skit I wanted to work on where, like, we were talking about this earlier, how during COVID they were really taking advantage of the right to deny service to anybody for any cause.
Yeah.
So if somebody got pissed at some entitled Karen, they'd just be like, "Well, your mask is slipping, so you get the fuck out of here. We reserve the right to." So you want to have a retail guy that reserves the right to refuse service for any reason, but it's because you have on a shirt that spells twisted with a Z. So I'm not gonna. You have to leave my store now because you're
Twisted.
you're wearing a grammatical error.
You're
in
twisted,
this shirt,
sister.
and I hate you. So you can't buy sunglasses
Yeah.
from this sunglass hut.
I
Yeah,
don't
from
like
this grammar Nazi sunglass.
Yeah,
hut.
I don't like the term hot mess. I think it's a dumb, shallow woman term or whatever. Because it's always the basic bitch who's like, I'm such a hot mess or whatever.
You are definitely one of those things.
Right. And I was, God, I go to Town Lake and run on the weekends, and I went past this lady who had a shirt that said, "God loves this hot mess."
Ugh.
And I was like, "That's who I would." I reserve the right to refuse service.
She's
to
talking about her
that shirt.
pussy.
Yeah.
She's talking about her vagina. You can't shop
Right.
here a shirt.
Yeah.
You have a shirt with frogs doing all the different
But-
sexual positions.
but-
and
but I
you can't
think-
be in my store anymore.
I think that, but I think that that sketch would be a lot of fun if you had like a whole line of people, and he keeps dismissing them for the most,
Yeah.
for
The
most
gay
inane
club
reason.
door guy.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
no. You yes.
No, yeah.
It's very soup
No,
Nazi.
no, no. This is something we ask everybody. That where you grew up at, is there a restaurant that was your favorite place to go when you were little that doesn't exist anymore? That if you had the time machine before killing Hitler, you would go eat. Because you have a time machine, you can kill Hitler whenever.
Yeah, that's all everyone talks about with
Yeah.
time machines. I heard someone doing a stand up, but he's like, well, what else is someone going to do with the time machine now?
You can't.
There's
you
only
can't-
one thing people want to do with a time machine.
You can't kill Idi Amin. That's racist. You have to kill Hitler.
But probably like in Massachusetts, I remember we would either eat out or order out from two places in particular. There was a Chinese place that had
There's always a Chinese
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mine are all Chinese restaurants.
Number one, Happy Time Yum Yum.
and they always had, but they had this duck sauce, this golden duck sauce that
Yeah.
I've never tasted ever since then.
Oh yeah.
That I would eat there, and I would also get ravioli from Luigi's. I don't know if Luigi's is still in Lexington, Massachusetts,
Oh,
but
yeah?
if it is, when I'm there next time,
We'll
I
look
will.
it up. It'll go on the YouTube if it's still there. I put all the screenshots of all these restaurants. Of all
Yeah.
these
Yeah,
places.
okay, awesome.
Here's another sketch. We have, you have to get consent now from the ladies.
Mhm.
So there's like a form,
Mhm,
you can do, but also you can just get them to. You can just hold your phone up and say, "Tell me, I'm videoing you right now. Tell me you want to fuck me." And then you're gonna end up with a bunch of guys with a bunch of videos on their phones of girls saying, "I want to fuck you," and they're gonna trade them like trading cards. Like I got a 2007.
Yeah. Like, no, you have
Brittany.
to do it over. You can't use my name. You need to say, I want to fuck you.
We need it generic. We need it like generic as we can.
Oh, no.
This has to air in 17 markets. Come on.
Oh, God.
That one's busted. I'll give you one for two of those.
Help.
Yeah.
Have you seen the bear suit guy with the red bear suit? Looks like a BMX outfit.
No, it's not like a red panda thing.
So it was kind of. He had a documentary called The Grizzly Guy a long time ago, and then this is the updated version.
Okay, it's his bear suit.
Yeah, look how
looks
big the
more like
head is.
Voltron.
It's got a huge
Okay.
head,
Yeah.
so you can get fucked up by a bear and still live.
All right.
So I have this other bit that we're working on about the Ocean Gate submarine, where anywhere there's not air, you shouldn't go. You're not brave.
Humans aren't meant to go
Yeah.
places where there isn't
You're not an
air.
explorer.
Yeah.
Don't go to space.
That
Don't
whole
go
story was retarded, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, don't know if I'm allowed
fine.
to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's part of. We'll have to talk about the Grand Compromise later, but yeah.
because there were 5 people, right? The 3 rich people and the 2 experts.
Yeah.
And when more details came out about the story, but like the whole thing was getting controlled by a PlayStation controller and
This
things
is the
like
Mad
that.
Cats.
It's
It was
like
a wired.
like it's 100% the case that these guys were mostly experts in conning rich people.
Yeah.
It was like the underwater fire festival.
But one of the places you can't
Yeah.
go because there's no air is the spirit realm. You know,
Okay.
don't fuck around with ghosts. There's not air. Anywhere there's not breathing, don't go.
Yeah, there's ether, but there's not.
So
air.
I'm going to put where bears are in the same category because
Okay.
you're so close to being a ghost.
Yeah, where bears are. Yeah, frankly,
Just
I don't
don't-
think anyone could get fucked up by the bear in that costume.
There is
It's like-
air, but there's not going to be air for long because you're
Yeah.
going to get your lungs punctured
Yeah.
by what
What-
bears have like 18
yeah.
sharp
The
points.
Matrix,
hanging
you know, what good is air if you don't have lungs?
Yeah. Yeah. You think that's air you're breathing?
I'm not allowed to. Do you have any old jokes you don't use anymore?
Yeah. They say a ploy is a trick you play on someone. So, what's employment?
You've been tricked.
Yeah, yeah.
That's still valid now. It's not like
Yeah.
topical.
Yeah, but yeah, I usually like return to a lot of the old one-liners that I had, and then expand on them now that I'm more capable. Like for instance, that whole thing about like my glasses are new, like my sister's transitioning.
Yeah.
I have two transistors.
Yeah.
Made a radio out of them.
And you can tune in Tokyo.
Yeah,
now.
trying to contact the aliens. Yeah.
I had a joke about the Batman shooting. Remember, there was a shooting in the theater during the Bane movie.
Yeah, the Aurora, Colorado shooting.
So the people that got wounded in the shooting got a visit from Christian Bale,
Oh, nice.
but the people that didn't make it got to visit Heath Ledger.
Yeah. Oh.
Now, you made that joke like a week after it
Yeah,
happened.
it was way
I
too
remember watching you
Yeah.
make that joke at that showcase at Frank.
That was bad.
And, everybody groaned. It was one of those too
Yeah.
soon situations.
Almost as bad as the old dude
and
with
I
the bad
bet
breath.
Christian Bale skipped church to go see them. That's a real Christian Bale, you know.
Yeah, he bailed. He bailed on church.
That is a spin on a joke.
Oh
That's
my
funny 'cause
God.
when you, I
We're
remember
gonna
at
have
the
to call
same
this
time,
episode Christian Bale.
At the same time, Dane Cook had one where he was like, he said he was jealous of the people that got shot at the Aurora Theater because they didn't have to watch the rest of Dark Knight Rises 'cause it sucked so much.
I thought he was going to be jealous of them because they got attention, and he wants all of the attention
Oh,
from
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
ever, anywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's one of the things. That's part of his personality.
Yeah.
But he certainly made some good out of it.
That's
for
why
a
he
time.
made his face bigger,
Yeah.
so he could get more attention.
He just gets puffier and puffier every time I see him.
Oh no.
More to love.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take another little break and be right back. Okay, we're back. Segment 3.
So I went to Florida last year, and I saw a restaurant called Bacon Bitch. It was a restaurant, a breakfast restaurant with tits.
Only in Florida. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
So we were trying to come up with more. Now that can of worms is open, Waffle Horse,
Waffle
International House of Pancake Titties, but the women have to be old and smoking a cigarette. You know what you want?
Ham.
So
wallet.
basically, an IHOP
Yeah.
waitress.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Just a little sluttier.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys seem like Twin Peaks guys. Is that
This is more of a bad bone daddies.
Yeah.
Bone daddies?
They take a food culture and they mix it with boobs. What's there's tilted kilt?
Tilted kilt. I've been to
Just
one of those up
haggis
in
and tits?
Cleveland, I think. Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Twin
very-
Peaks is like a lumberjack theme,
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't.
That-
When
that
in
would make
Virginia it
sense.
was just Hooters. There wasn't like a bunch of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Florida's
we had
more
a Hooters
perverted.
in Austin
Yeah.
up until right before COVID, and they finally closed it.
No
It's
touching.
not a very Austin thing to have a Hooters in the town. I think that
No.
you get some protests against that at this point. But
So
when did you come to Austin? How long have you been here?
2 years and 4 months ago.
Did you come here just to do comedy, or
Yeah.
did you? Yeah,
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Can you really guess what day someone was born on
Yeah. Yeah.
from
What,
their birthday?
what day? What's your birth date? Yeah.
April 7th, 1977.
Okay. April 7th, 1977.
I don't know what day it was, so you're probably
That's
right.
okay. Well, someone can Google it.
Yeah.
1977. You got 96. And you said it's April 7th, right? April 7th. So that's you get to. Oh, hang on. 96 plus 7 is 103. Okay, and then we divide by. You were born on a Thursday. I
That is
think.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I know what day I was born, but March 11th, 1982.
Okay, March 11th, 1982. We got 82 divided by 4.
There's 7 more
Take away
people
the
coming for
remainder,
that.
so, okay. 102. And you said, what was the month and
March 11th.
March 11th. Okay, gotcha. March 102, 106, 117. So divide by 7 and take away the remainder. And I think you were born on a Thursday too.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're Thursday
Yeah.
buddies.
Thursday.
Nice.
I was born on a Thursday also.
Hell
so
yeah. Triple Thursday
cheers,
threat.
baby.
Thursday Bros.
Hell yeah.
Maybe that's the name of the episode.
Yeah, Thursday bros.
So my favorite thing to do with that is when were you born? Or sorry, Derek.
Oh, June 3rd, 1993.
June 93. Billboard.
Oh yeah, the Unabomber was in the news at that
Oh,
time.
hell
I
yeah.
think, yeah.
He just died.
Billboard
Oh
Top
yeah, Ted
100.
Kaczynski. R.I.P.
Weak in the Knees. Single was SWV. That's the Way Love Goes. Janet Jackson. Knocking the Boots, H-Town was a good, but now that's not what's important. What's important is 9 months before that was the music that was playing when you were conceived.
Okay.
What was the banging music?
Oh,
So that's your.
I wonder whether my parents listened to music while they did it. and I wonder whether it was current stuff even.
Yeah.
So that would be November '92. Billboard.
Well, I
hits.
was a little post-mature. No, and it would have been. It would have been September, probably August '92.
August of '92.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of those years, I'm thinking like, well, that was when like alternative music was really hitting. There was lots of Nirvana and Pearl Jam
Bill
going around.
Clinton was just getting into office.
Yeah, right.
We were getting ready to realize that blowjobs aren't sex.
Baby got back.
Baby got back.
That's it right there. Anaconda don't want none. Right.
Mine was Afternoon Delight 9 months before I was born. It was my father's birthday.
Excellent.
He gets once a year.
Poor man.
So I was telling you about whenever you drop the hard R earlier. I was telling you, I got to tell you about the Great Compromise.
What, neighbor?
Yeah. At some point, we got to come up with a compromise, right, between like all the like the progressive social justice and the people who are like, the people who are just kind of pushing back a little bit. And I think that the compromise that needs to happen is that the progressive woke people or whatever, they have to let two things happen. They have to let people call each other retarded, and they also have to let straight guys call each other gay.
These are things that have been happening for thousands of years.
Yeah, right.
That they want them to stop now.
Right. That we'll give in to everything else you want, but you got to stop getting mad whenever like, oh, my friend, check him out, he's gay.
Ancient scriptures
Yeah.
on walls of a guy with a skirt on and another guy pointing and laughing.
started with the Greeks, but guess what? They were actually gay.
Yeah.
So
Which again, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being.
They weren't
gay,
even
you
making
know?
fun of anyone. It was just facts. They were like,
Yeah.
this man is gay. It's a Tuesday.
yes, so we can prove
This
it
is normal.
in an Aristotelian fashion. But then what do the compromises that the people who are pushing back have to make?
Well, then you have to let people use whatever bathroom that they identify with.
Yeah,
you have to not get mad whenever.
You have to say the words.
Yeah,
It's
you have
use
to not get
pronouns.
mad whenever a athlete decides to kneel for the national anthem. I mean, that's some real basic stuff that, like, hey, just let that go, right? Just don't worry about
Everyone
it.
has to
allowed
calm
to.
down on both
yeah.
ends.
Yeah,
You might not like it that he's like that you feel he's disrespecting what you hold dear, but are you not going to let people disrespect what you hold dear when you're calling your buddies retarded?
Yeah,
and gay?
I hold that just as dear, right?
Yeah,
the
right.
age of-
So
gotta
why
let
don't you be a real American and stop fagging around with this dumbass indignation that everyone should be the way you want to be?
It's the spirit
So,
that you
brother,
Right.
it's the spirit you were born out of.
Yeah.
Rodney King. Can't we all just get along?
And that's
Yeah,
what I've been,
yeah.
I've been saying that since the beginning. Whenever like Kaepernick started kneeling for the national anthem, I was like, what if all the conservative people that like freaked out about that, what if they'd have just let it go? What if they'd have just said, I don't agree with it, but he can do whatever he wants. It's fine.
yeah.
You think he really would have kept doing it whenever he didn't get the reaction that he wanted out of it? You think it really would have been such a huge thing if
Yeah, right.
if
Yeah.
it
You're
hadn't
the
gotten
only
that-
people who made his protest effective.
Yeah, right.
This is every marriage fight ever. I don't like the way you react. Well, don't give me nothing to react to then. It's your fault for making me react. So the original bioweapon was the polio blankets they gave to the Native Americans.
Smallpox, but yeah.
But yes, sorry, smallpox. But you have to wonder if maybe that was retaliatory. Speaking of reactions,
Yeah.
if the pilgrims showed up here and they were like, "What do you eat here?" and the Indians were like, "Yeah, you can eat that. Go ahead. Watch. He's gonna eat. Watch what happens."
Are you talking?
He's gonna eat the raw corn.
They got into the wilded-
Which I don't know which
Which came first, the
tribes
chicken or
were
the egg?
actually cannibalistic. I mean, we all know about human sacrifice in the Aztecs, but I don't know. Well, yeah.
I mean, if you got people coming on your land that you don't want there, and they're like, "What can we eat? What's healthy?" Why would you not tell them, eat that thing that's going to give you death diarrhea?
Yeah.
Kill everybody. So it's possible that the pilgrims were like, "Hey, fuck that," and they made smallpox blankets as a retaliation. Who knows? There's no written history of that time.
Well, I mean, they say
Lost.
they say that history is written by the victors,
Yeah.
but all I've ever heard is how evil the people who won were.
Yeah.
Whenever you go like the colonies and all that,
Yeah.
like all I ever hear is that the Indians were like really cool and nice, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, come stay here. We'll be friends with you and all that." And then the people who came over just absolutely murdered them because they were like, "No, my land, I want this. This is mine."
But if you've ever seen like one of those cowboy movies that were filmed in black and white, like the Indians were definitely the bad guys.
Yeah, they were the
And
savages.
We were telling. So like those things, like it swings in both directions. Yeah, but when I was growing up, in Massachusetts has a great deal of pride in America. Being American, and that being the second place that people landed.
And it's kind of where America started.
So I said the second place that people landed, like there weren't people there. See, it's baked into me. But
Right,
anyway,
those are animals.
yeah. Well,
They don't count. The ones that were here don't.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that was remarkable to me, in moving to California was like how much more the people in Massachusetts like had an actual celebration of the of the initial friendship that was formed between the Pilgrims and the natives, but then also it's like it was all very positive messages about America. It wasn't until later that like those things started being introduced. So like maybe like today, the only thing that you hear about is like how evil the conquerors were.
Definitely growing up as a little kid, it was all kumbaya. It was like the Pilgrims and the natives and
and the frontier and the heroic explorers,
Lewis and Clark, expedition. I learned about all that stuff, but then you also learn about Paul Bunyan and all the tall tales and all that. So we have that like folk history. It wasn't until later that you really started, and it might just be my own framing of it from the things that I've read, because once you start going to college and take a certain path, then you start saying, "Oh my God, is that right? I was being lied to the whole time," and that's really not good for like forming a. I don't think that's really good for forming a society, that there's sort of like this bait and switch. Yeah.
But I never had to be frank, like my college education really didn't include much of like the rolling back of the curtain, because I focused basically exclusively on mathematics, economics, and statistics. I wanted
you were talking bad about the communications degree.
Huh? Oh, was I?
The other podcast.
Oh yeah. Oh no. It's always fun to shit on communications degrees. But I'll tell you right now, at UC Santa Barbara, where I went, the people who were in communications degrees, both at the time and then like a few who I paid attention to afterwards, and like they've all become like they've all at least in terms of our idea of like success in the capitalistic system, done very well. And I had no respect for it, but what I realized is like they were all highly social people.
Oh yeah, they can network, right?
Yeah, and I felt like such a fool afterwards for thinking that they were like wasting their time with this thing. This was like soft science bullshit. But the fact was that they were actually like driving themselves towards something that they wanted, and they So who really is the fool?
Maybe the Pilgrims had that belt buckle on their head to try to tighten and keep all those stupid ideas in there. They're trying to kill everybody.
Yeah.
Tighten it up.
That's how they kept their libido in, right?
Calm down with calling everybody a witch and killing everybody.
The Puritans certainly wrote a lot of long books. Yeah.
Have you ever seen those silver alerts on the highway? There's an old person. That's like the alert for the old person.
Yeah, the old one who's lost. Yeah.
That's how you want to go, man. That sounds great. Just off into the sunset in a Buick.
That song by Fastball, The Way.
Yeah.
It's about the
slowly let your life force fade out.
Yeah, just go, man.
In the American frontier.
About the elderly couple who have dementia. They just get in their car like, we're going to go for a drive.
Yeah, the old people that stick
they
around.
They find them at the bottom of the cliff 2 months later.
Old people that stick around, everybody has to take care of them. It's expensive.
No.
Just get in your Buick and go off into the
there's this
horizon. Stop bothering everybody.
Fly off like the end of Grease.
There's this lovely movie. I think it's called The Leisure Seeker. It's this old couple who goes on like one final trip in their motorhome, and like the man is losing his mind, and there's this one night like where he sort of is in a delirium, and he starts talking to himself, and he's repeating his memories, and the wife finds out that that while she had cancer, he was cheating on her with the
Oh,
neighbor's
nice.
wife. And
So she sent him off into the horizon.
Yeah.
Why don't you just drive that way and keep going?
yeah.
I like being friends with old people because they know stuff. It's like in Final Fantasy when you add a member to your party that already has the same experience as you, but more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they got more spells.
You're like, oh, cool. They
Yeah.
already know everything.
yeah.
You can just go along with this person. It'll help me level up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you play video games?
Yeah.
This has been a Final Fantasy podcast for like
Oh, whoa.
a year.
Heck
Because
yeah.
we've been hyped for 16 and then it
Yeah.
finally came
We
out.
grew up going to church and playing Final Fantasy. So
Yeah.
we'll
I
talk about that all day.
I'd say
Watching Star Wars.
definitely. Yeah, we used to play Final Fantasy, but like on an emulator on our PC.
Yeah.
So I've logged endless hours of Final Fantasy VI,
Yeah.
which is also Final Fantasy
Yeah,
3.
well, I don't know if you saw right there. But
Oh my God.
That's a cool little painting of the opening right there. But
Yeah, it almost looks like a low key version of Planet Doom in Ready Player One.
yeah.
My
Yeah,
buddy,
no, that was a seminal game for me. That was one of the first
those are
games.
those mech suits that they were in. Oh.
Yeah, when the game starts and then like because
Right.
that was Super Nintendo days. Whenever there was no like hard, everything was pixel art or whatever, and that intro of them walking with the Mode 7 of the Horizon coming on was like the most amazing thing we'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And so that opening scene of that game is just drilled into my mind. So I got that cool little
And that is such a
painting
beautiful
thing, yeah.
painting. Yeah.
that's what you asked us before we started. What is this podcast about? And we were too
Final
embarrassed to tell you
Fantasy.
it's a Final
Don't
Final
be
Fantasy and
embarrassed,
Star Wars.
man.
Yeah.
Let's play some Blitzball later.
Yeah, hell yeah. We can get it.
Well, we had a thing actually in one of the more recent episodes. Josh had made an observation that I'd never thought of before, which is every time a Final Fantasy comes out, whatever that like the aesthetic of that Final Fantasy is what was going on in American pop culture like 5 years earlier.
Oh wow.
So like Final Fantasy 16 is all Game of Thrones-y.
Oh, my God.
It's like Final Fantasy meets Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Well, Game of Thrones, 5 years ago was the biggest thing in the world. So
Yeah.
obviously they're like, well, we're going to make a Game of Thrones Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Well, but even more so, one of the strengths of Japanese culture, I feel, is innovation, is the ability to absorb something which others have created and improve on it.
Yeah.
Which is something that I really admired, particularly because innovation in comedy, I feel like is one of my strengths too, which is a very frustrating thing because people are very concerned about joke stealing. But like if I like hear someone make a joke and then I can tag it because like, okay, well, I'm entering into the stream of your consciousness and I'm looking around and I see there's this really neat fish over there and I say like, but did you think about that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I would do is, I would go watch people, and then as their jokes that I thought were good would get my mind going, and I would take it a tangent from there, and then a tangent from there, and then a tangent from there. And so maybe the original inspiration was there, but I'm not going to take their exact
sometimes
joke.
it helps to have like a
Yeah.
topic or a premise to work from, just like in Finding Forrester when Sean Connery's character is teaching this boy from Brooklyn how to write. He says, start writing what someone else has written and then take it in your own direction.
And then,
But then, of course, like as you become yourself and you find your own voice as an artist, then you can start trailblazing new
you're
ground.
coming from
yeah.
a more original place, but then
Yeah.
and then when you do it, you know what happens. He says, "You're the man now, dog."
You know what?
So I've been on in a wormhole of this podcast subreddit called Chuyat, and it's Indian or Pakistani for idiot fumble,
Okay.
and it's just people commenting on stuff, and I'm trying to figure it out and read it and understand it, but there's a video of an old Pakistani man getting beat up on the street by somebody, and apparently it was because he was an immigrant somewhere in London or something.
Oh yeah.
So the top comment is, "This sucks so bad. It seems like law enforcement can't even do shit even if they want to. Personally, as a Pakistani, I doubt koi bhi perfect civilized society exists. Karti hai duniya mein. I used to think of Japan, but wahan ke dosre masle or bohat dahasi zaida ajib hain."
And this is what gets posted on our Reddit comments.
Yes,
Awesome.
in English letters.
Okay.
So someone knows what that means, and I wanted to know what the end was. Spoiler alert, I don't get to know.
Google Translate.
But it's like English words.
I'm trying to figure out what causes them to? It's like Ricky Ricardo when he get pissed at Lucy and go into Spanish.
Yeah.
Ay, por Dios, no me digas, bitch, shut up.
Yeah.
You just go back and forth. This other guy goes, Ike documentary daki the ahi norms or culture ki Ike Japanese ki uncivilized. Tukai leaking economic problems bohati zaida Japan main logo. Suicide rate bahikon haikanai.
It's
Like something bad happened.
it's Urduglish.
Perfect.
I have so I yeah if well I don't know if I well you said was one or both of you been to the UK, right?
He's been to the UK.
Okay, yeah. And if you've hung out with the working class in the UK, like very rough cut, uncouth, extremely like quite xenophobic,
right?
In like especially in Wales and parts of Ireland where I've been. Like I was in Northern Ireland, and I just left Belfast after. So I just left Bushmills just on the north coast after being there for
booze.
Right, the oldest whiskey distillery in the world, and also the Giant's Causeway, which I got to walk up and down every day for 4 months. It was beautiful, and it was during the summertime too. And Northern Ireland is so far north; it's like almost as far north as Scandinavia. It's like farther north than Copenhagen. So on the summer solstice, the sun set at 10 p.m. and there was just this kind of glow until 2 a.m. So
and when it came back up,
then I went down to Armagh I went down to Armagh in Northern Ireland, and like there were like a few Middle Eastern people living there, and the people who I was staying with there's this Irish fuck up called, well, who isn't, but this William, called him Jamesy, and then he had his friend, but like the number of racial slurs that I heard out of them is like they used everyone that you could think of.
Right. So have you ever heard of the subreddit called OK Mate Wanker?
No.
Okay, so it's like British shit posting, and they have this this like format where they're like something like, "Hate globalism, love me chips, simple as," and it's constant just and it's all about like the mascot of this subreddit is Barry63. So it's this fat British guy with rosy cheeks with a pint of beer, and he's Barry and he's 63 years old or whatever. And
so it's like
really
imitating the attitudes of such a person.
Yeah. So and it's just constant British, and it's "Ate the French, love me Wales," and all that, and it's.
The British hate the French, the Spanish hate the French hate everybody.
You know why the French line the streets with trees?
Why?
So the Nazis can march in the shade.
Oh no! Oh no! That's a Vichy thing to say.
Very, very.
That's not in Ordunglish or whatever you say.
Well, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Get over to I think there'll be people waiting for me at Lazy Days.
Yeah. So thanks for coming on, man.
I wish we
very
could have
much.
gone. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Next time, if we do this again, let's start at 3:30. But it was a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys.
So let's give us some plugs here. So what are your @s?
Yeah, every Tuesday 6 p.m. at Lazy Days. Got an open mic there. It's a really fun place, a good non-judgmental vibe. You know, a lot of people are smoking weed, so everyone's real chill.
Yeah. South Austin, man.
Yep, South Austin, represent. I wish I was still living in South Austin, but I found a place with cheap rent up north. So what are you gonna do?
Welcome you back with open arms once you
Appreciate
start
it.
making.
I'm looking forward to it. The taquerias down here, unbeatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your socials?
Yeah, Derek D Comedian everywhere, to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Every Thursday at Narbar at 10 p.m. and every Sunday at Madrone Coffee Company at 3 p.m. I play the piano behind all the comics, so we got like a musical comedy thing. Yeah.
Excellent.
Without it turning into too big of a ball wash, you're very impressive. You're doing great things.
Thank you.
Your work ethic is amazing. You know, I'm sure you're going to be doing well enough to be able to afford to move back to South Austin.
Thank you,
eventually.
guys.
This is
so
a horrible
appreciate that.
market that we live in.
Just wait for that housing bubble to burst. It's going to happen any day now, I swear.
Yeah, they keep saying that, but honestly, yeah.
All of us are trapped in our golden handcuffs.
You have to come down here twice a week anyway, so we'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
All right. Talk to you later.
Thank
Bye.
you, guys. Bye.
awful.